Hello, all you aspiring writers out there. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, co-founder of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, and I'm here with our superstar author, Joanie Lindenmeyer, to tell you everything you need to know to write, publish, and promote a great book. We go live every Friday with this topic, and today we have a hot one for you. Welcome, Joanie.
Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for having me again. I,
You're
I
welcome.
know this doesn't get old to me. I hope it doesn't get old to all of you listeners and to Elizabeth. So we have a blast.
No, it's an honor. I love it that we know so much and are so eager to share. So, Joni, you have a really wonderful topic today. What is it?
Well, it's the power of memories that can create a robust memoir book. It's the
Okay.
power of memories. Oh, and I just think that's so incredible that we're blessed as human beings to have memories, first off. And then we're going to jump into how you can turn that into something else.
Yes, I love that. So, let's talk about how you did that, Joni.
Oh my gollies. Okay. Well, oh boy, that's a great question. How did I do that? Well, I lived my life to the fullest every day. I was definitely committed and in love with my honey, Sweetie Pie Carol Tierheimer. And for 40 years, we lived that out from all the struggles and challenges and fun events. And as we said every day, live every day to the max. It's a brand new day, never been lived before. And in our heart of hearts, that was our joyful self. And so when she died, long story short, it was like, you know what? It's time to write this book that we started. And lo and behold, that's what we did. And so
Mhm.
I wrote a memoir. I didn't even know it was called a memoir, Elizabeth, until I had you as a book coach. It was like, just going to write a book. I didn't know what genre or what title or what style. I didn't know what that even meant. So
Uh-huh.
maybe you can jump in there and talk about what a memoir is for people that are living and deceased. Would you do that to start us off?
Sure. So, a memoir is your life story, but it's not just an autobiography, which is everything. A memoir focuses on certain themes in your life. So your memoir, None Better, an amazing love story, really focused on you coming out in a convent, getting the call to be a nun, and then going to the convent, following all this whole trajectory of that, and then meeting Carol, falling in love, leaving the church, and then marrying and having this 40-year adventure. So there's many other things that happened in your life, but you focused on the theme of leaving the church, falling in love with a nun, and then spending a life together as out lesbians, which is a huge story, huge, beautifully done. And so that is the difference. A memoir is really about those memories, but around a theme. So, my memoir, God's Answer is No, KNOW, Lessons from a Spiritual Life, focused on my spiritual awakening, my family story that inspired my spirituality, and other challenges that I dealt with that related to my spiritual empowerment. So, Maya Angelou wrote like 8 or 9 memoirs, each dealing with different themes. So, that's a huge difference.
Wow. See, I keep learning. Yeah, I forgot about that whole thing of themes. It just sort of rattles and keeps on going. But you're
Uh-huh.
right. You can sort of categorize them or think of them as a theme or a topic, which is
Right.
awesome.
Yes.
Which is
Yes.
awesome.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yes.
So, we are publishing a book called Write Your Book in a Day, The Two Sisters Blueprint for Turning Your Book Writing Dreams into Published Reality. And in that book, I talk about how do you start? Because a lot of aspiring authors do not know where to start or how to start writing their book. So, my message is very simple. Think of all the stories, memories that you're always sharing at dinner parties with people you meet on an airplane, with, people you interact with. There are certain stories that you always tell. So write a list of those. Those stories are memories, your favorite ones, maybe your most traumatic ones. You're going to share those repeatedly verbally. So when you write them down and put them in a book, they are preserved forever for your friends, your family members, your future generations, and people you have no idea who in 100 years could read your stories.
Right, right. Exactly. And related to all that comes to my prop. Okay. So my prop today is a calendar that my younger sister produces every year. This year, it happens to be the theme of parks. They're happy places. And so,
Nice.
it's not a written book. So I'm just going to show this. And so this is my sister. They celebrated their 41st wedding anniversary this year. And
Oh.
so we have my younger sister Terry and her
Mm-hmm.
husband Billy. And
Mm-hmm.
so you can see 2013 and then 2025, and
Yeah.
they have always been outdoor people. So every
Wow.
year. Oh, totally, totally. They hunt and they fish and they hike and they kayak and they are out on all kinds of ATVs. And oh my gosh, I have so many stories I could tell with her and me hiking, and how she just keeps encourages me. Get to the next post, Joni. You can do this. You can do this. Go up the hill, down the hill, and around.
Wow.
Anyhow, so anyway, I bring that up as a prop because her way of expressing it is in a calendar. Someday maybe she will write her memoir, but it's an idea of all of her pictures. She gathered all of these pictures, to put in here. And so I think that's a great way to do any memoir, is to look at the stories, as Elizabeth just said. What stories are you always telling? And then look at your pictures. Maybe you
Yeah.
want to look at your refrigerator or a bulletin board or your phone, or maybe you're old and an old fart like me, and you have DVDs and VHSs and those kind of things that will
Yeah.
bring back the memories that
Yeah.
can give you that theme for your memoir.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
I
and
love
and, and
it.
I guess, go ahead.
Well, looking at pictures helps you remember details because as time passes, memories can fade. Can become fuzzy. And writing books for
Yes.
people who are in their 70s, 80s, as a ghostwriter, they don't remember specific details of things all the time. Sometimes things are crystal clear, but oftentimes, well, even, in your 50s, it's hard to remember something in your 20s. So when you look at photos, it helps you fill in the details. So that's really cool. And the fact
Really?
that it's a calendar, I was writing a book for someone once, very accomplished. They had daily calendar books for decades. And so they
Wow.
were able to go back, and I do the same. I write down on my physical calendar, paper calendar, planning book, I write down what I'm doing. It helps you obviously keep track of your schedule, but then you can also fill in what you did that day, maybe how you felt. If you're trying to lose weight, how much you weigh, what was your workout. You can add whatever. And so calendars are very, very helpful for mining for memories because you can go back, oh, yeah, a year ago this day I was doing XYZ. And it helps you put that story together for your book.
Yes. Yes. Totally, totally, totally. And I guess with those memories, they're not all happy memories. There's sad memories. There's
Hmm.
traumatic memories, and I think of the people that we have in Healing Religious Hurts, Elizabeth. I'm thinking of Kristen talking about being raised in a family with addictions. I'm thinking of Pam. I love Pam. She's one of the people that come to the meditation, and she talks about her frustration with her church being homophobic. And then we have Jill, who talks about her relationship with church and God and with her mom. And it's just beautiful. But those are like short little vignettes, I guess, of their memoir. And they could
Right.
turn those into an entire book if they wanted. Those are
Hmm.
three people I'm just mentioning that I don't think they'd ever really written before. And they
Hmm.
they spilled out that that internal guts and the memories of what that was. And I think that's really important in a memoir, that you can say whatever you want to say. It's your book, it's your perspective, it's your life.
Yes, yes, I agree with you 1000%. That is so powerful. Um, so let's talk about memories, like the power of them, because they're wonderful to relive at times, and then they can be painful, but they're also a milestone in your life. It shows you where you were. And when you're telling your life story in a memoir or an autobiography or a novel for that matter, if you decide to fictionalize it, going back and looking at the memories, Not just the visual, but you want to remember the dialogue. You want to remember as many authentic details as you can. When my
Yes.
mother wrote her memoir, The Triumph of Rosemary by Judge Marilyn E. Atkins, she remembered dialogue verbatim from childhood. She said it just came to her with crystal clarity, and other people don't.
Uh-huh.
So that's why it's so important to journal now, no matter where you are, and chronicle things in real time so that when you do decide to write a book, you have it already written in vivid detail that you might forget later on.
hmm Oh, wow. That's excellent. That's excellent. I know in many of the things that I've written too, the memory was really, really clear on what words were said. Other
Uh-huh.
times I had the overall idea and I could hear their voice. If we're talking of another person, I could hear their voice and I could write it accordingly. It came in both. But yeah, your mom's book was phenomenal that way.
Thank
Phenomenal.
you. Thank you.
Phenomenal.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You mentioned a point, chronological. I remember working with you, Elizabeth, on my book, None Better. And I
Hmm.
had all these stories. I had all these things I wanted to put in there. And you were so clear on that. Joni, let's put it in a chronological way. It helps the reader to see where things were and what might be coming next. It was suspenseful for them because they didn't know what was coming next as a reader. Can you talk about the chronological? I think that's really important.
So chronological means in the order that it happened. And that's linear as well. I use the word hopscotch if you decide to not write in
Oh,
a chronological manner. I came up with that word because it's like you're hopscotching around your story, your lifeline, your timeline. So that means flashbacks, that means alternating chapters with different periods of your life. It takes some skill to do that so that it doesn't feel disjointed and your reader's head isn't spinning like, oh my gosh, okay, now that was 1965 and now we're in 2000. Okay. You really have to gently guide your reader to follow along if you're going to jump around the timeline of your life. So a chronological story is the easiest to follow. One thing happens, the next thing happens, it leads to the next. I'm ghostwriting a book right now where that's the way it's done. It's awesome. It's easiest to write that way. But at the same time, I am listening to the audiobook of Cynthia Sint Marshall. Incredible story. She was the former president of AT&T North Carolina, and then she became the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks. Dynamic, incredible personal traumas she's endured, and tremendous miraculous healings, and just, you know, the pinnacle of her success in shattering the black ceiling and glass ceiling in corporate America. Anyway, she alternates chapters on her timeline, like by decades. And it
oh,
works because with each chapter, she takes you here and then it teaches you something about how she grew up and things she experienced. And then she brings you back up to the current. And it's like, it all makes sense and it's very skillfully done. So it can be done, but you have to be very careful to make sure your reader is along for the ride and it's not bumpy.
would you tell me her name again, please? I'm going to write that down.
Sure, Cynthia Marshall.
Okay.
Cynthia Marshall, and her nickname is Cynt, Cynt, the first four letters of Cynthia.
hmm
It's just so good. I'm actually listening to the audio book because that's super convenient for me because I'm always doing stuff and I need to rest my eyes because I'm doing so much writing right now. So I have to take eye breaks from the computer. So I'll be like, making dinner, listening to her book. It's just awesome. So I know you have an audiobook for Joyously None Better, Joni, and it's just all you writers out there, please make an audiobook because a lot of people don't want to sit down and read. A lot of people love reading books. However, audiobooks are so convenient in our super busy world. You can multitask and still be enriched by the storytelling.
Yes. Yeah. And I have a story to go along with that.
Okay.
Check out my new ring.
Oh, Joni, that's amazing.
Isn't that cool? This is
Mm.
an amethyst ring with some diamonds on it. But my dear friend Troy, who had read None Better before, he goes, I want to listen to your audiobook. Well, it blew him out of the water. He said he cried and laughed. He could hear my voice through the whole thing. He could pick up on all my tonnage, and he was so impressed with it that he got me a gift of this. He also got me a gift of a personally signed Neil Diamond picture because of the
Oh,
whole Neil Diamond thing. And it was like he showed up at my house with these beautiful gifts, and his heart was just overflowing because of
wow.
the audiobook. And he goes,
Wow.
this has got to be the number one audiobook I've ever listened to. But it hit his
Mhm.
heart. And I guess why I'm saying that, I'm not saying it to boast me. I'm saying it to say, there are going to be people that will fall in love with your voice and you telling your story right there with them personally.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that will move them. That will
Hmm.
move them. So I
I love
agree. I,
it.
I think everybody should write a book and do an audio book in your own
Yes.
voice.
Yeah. So when you hear the author tell their story in their words, you feel like you know them. And it's really an intimate experience and it's awesome. And so do that, do that, do that. And then the audiobook obviously is you get to use your own voice expression, excitement, sadness, whatever, to share the memories that are the major parts of the storytelling. So it's all connected. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And it's fun to do as an author. It was very fun to do. It was challenging at the same time. And I went through boxes of Kleenex, and Tom, who was recording me, was like, Joni, take a break, blow your nose, have some water, then let's get back into it, because there were times where I was so choked up with those
Yeah,
emotions.
I love
So
it.
choked up. Yes.
Oh, that is so
Yes.
cool.
Yes, for
That's
sure, for
awesome.
sure, for sure.
So
And it's so fun to read and to listen to people's stories. I just feel like my life grows um in bigger and better ways because I'm listening to somebody else's story. I'm walking
true.
in their moccasins. And to
Hmm.
me, it's such an honor. It's such
Hmm.
a privilege to learn from somebody else.
Hmm. It really is. Yeah, every book enriches you in some way. It touches your heart, your mind, you learn. It gives you power, permission. It's endless. So all you writers out there, there's so many benefits that you'll never even know
Mhm,
that come with writing a book, and they're all about helping other people. It's not even about
mhm,
you as the author. Of course, you have to do the work, but the
mhm.
books I'm writing right now for people who've hired me to write their memoirs, I always think about all the people who are going to read these stories and feel
Yes.
so inspired and so just elevated in their belief in themselves.
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. So I was thinking this morning, Elizabeth, of some of the books that I've read of memoirs, and I was thinking of some of the themes. And so I'm just going to read this little list of some of the themes that people have come up with, and where they got their memories from.
Mm,
Of course, it's places, people that have traveled to different places and or worked in different locations and had a career in a certain place. So it's places, it's the people that have been involved in their life.
nice.
I love that about your book and your mom's book, for sure, for sure. Billie Jean King was one of the other books I really, really love. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
who was the guy that did Jeopardy for years? Um,
Pat Sajak.
Yes, I loved his memoir. That was an awesome memoir. That was an awesome
Mm,
memoir. And then I wrote down it's cars and trucks and baby. It's about the baby pictures and how they started their memoir from when they were in utero, which was really, really cool. That was really cool. About their accomplishments and their failures. I love the books that talk about failures
mhm.
because we're not all perfect, and we have these failures. And what do we do with those? What do we turn that lemons into lemonade kind of thing? And then the last one is the confidence that they instill, and that could be related to their entertainment career or their sports career or wherever their career took them. So those were just some things I jotted down.
I love that. I love that. So, one really cool thing is when you're making memories in the moment, the more aware you become of it and the power of memory is when you're in the moment living something that will become a memory. really, really study the sensory extravaganza of the experience. Because sometimes, especially big, big events like a wedding day or a funeral or something really, really deeply emotional, good or bad,
Mhm.
it can whiz by in a blaze, in a haze. And so, in the moment, try to remember all the details and make notes, write them down because you won't remember. And that's why people sometimes say they look at their wedding video and they're like, I don't remember that because it's so overwhelming of stimulation of people and music and food and the schedule and all the things. And you can apply that to any event, whether it's a big party or a boat ride or cruise. You know, when you go on a cruise, there's so much activity. It might be new and meeting new people. Write it down. I think it's so important. Again, can't say this enough. Write it down in the moment because you won't remember. It's going to all blur together. And that doesn't do justice when you sit down to write your book.
Mhm. Mhm. Good point. Good point. Right. What other tips do you have for people that would like to do a memoir?
Well, since our topic today is memories, decide which ones you want to share. You don't have to share all your memories because it's not appropriate to share them all with the public. So you have to decide which ones are relevant. And again, just say you pick three themes for your memoir, and then you write a list. If you say one theme is my personal empowerment, another theme is my career, another theme is my romantic life. Pick stories where all of those intersect. And that will make your reader feel like they're following this really wonderful flow of your life. It's cohesive, it's smooth, everything connects, and one thing builds on the next. And the only complaint you'll get is that your book ended because they wanted to keep reading more.
Yes, 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 yes. And I loved how you taught me start with a bang and end with a bang.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, and figuring that out for none better. Well, what was the bang at the beginning and what was the bang at the end? And I did the rose garden for the bang at the end. That one came really, really good. The one at the beginning, I had several ways we could have gone with that. And I so um, appreciated your advice on, well, this be a good one, Joni,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
Excellent. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. It's so exciting to teach all of these techniques. And I love your topic of memories today because those are some of the most enriching things. And they're always there in our minds. We can always go there and
Mhm,
just,
mhm.
especially for happy memories. If you're feeling sad, you can just go up into the recesses of your memories and just enjoy that moment again. That's,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's
Absolutely. Yep.
really.
For sure, for sure. And there's certain times of the
Yeah.
year. Oh boy, here we
So,
go.
all you writers
Oh,
out there, start listing your favorite memories. Chances
yes.
are they're the stories that you're always telling, and you can flesh them out and make them your book.
Yes. For sure, for sure. And I think times of the year relate to
Joni,
that.
do you have any final words about memories for a book?
Yes, I think the point I want to make is use those memories to
Uh-oh, your
share with
audio's
other
off.
people.
Huh, I can't hear you.
Oh, I don't know.
Joni?
It says it's here.
Huh,
It says it's here.
your
Well, you
audio,
go ahead
Joni's
and talk
audio
and
is
end it.
off. I can't hear you at all. Um, Joni, are you there?
I'm here.
Huh, this is so odd. Everybody, I don't know if you can hear me, but Joni's audio suddenly cut off. Let's see. I don't see anything muted. I'm not really sure what's happening, but I think we should just say that's a wrap.
Yes.
Joni, thank you for the wonderful topic today of memories. I love it. Everybody out there, please visit twosisterswriting.com where you can get all of our books. You can also learn about me as a book coach. I'd love to help you and as a publisher. For Joni, you can visit her page at twosisterswriting.com and you can also go to Joanie Lindenmeyer on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. And if you have questions, we'd love for you to drop us a comment. And as I said, we go live every Friday at noon Eastern Time. So please join us. And in the meantime, we wish you happy reading and happy writing. We'll see you next week.